A woman. She sits at a desk. She leans forward, she looks down. The room around her is dark. Only a tiny flickering light illuminates the scene. Like the glow of a laptop screen that lights up a workspace at night. But no technical device is inside here. Electricity has not yet been invented, let alone computers. The scene is very far away from now. However, it stands right before our very eyes. The woman is writing at her desk. The light of a candle twitches nervously across her face. She's writing a poem, a song about her hate for silence when it is time for speaking, about the fallen women that she has gathered around her. In the monastery which she founded on the 7th hill of Constantinople. A monastery for women exclusively. For she knows that a space like this is urgently needed, a safe space that allows breathing, thinking, gathering, creating, speaking, that allows female voices to appear. For she knows that a space like this is not self-evident. She knows it since the emperor told her in his bride search that all evil comes from women. And she would calmly reply to him, but the better comes from them as well. She knows it since that evening in paradise that struck terror in Eve and made her hide herself in fear. That night when time started. The woman is sitting at her desk in silence. Her hands are folded, her eyes are closed. She's reflecting on her testament, her last song, her bottle post to us, who she does not know, who she cannot know, but to who she reaches out anyway, through all the crossings and layers of time. And there she is. We can grab her hand, we can hear her breathe. For history might be a matter of linearity, of past, present, future, of memory and forgetting, of victory and defeat, of those who rise up and those who fall. A male narrative. But her story is not of this kind. It is not about time. It is a space. A space that is accessible, a space that opens up like a rupture, like a glitch in an image that invites us to enter the frame. Can you see it in front of you? The space that is opening up. The doors are fully open. The garden in front of the monastery doors is gently glowing under a nightly moonless sky. Birds and crickets are singing. From afar, the whispering of the ocean becomes audible. It blends with the whispering of voices. Human voices, female voices, a convent of voices of all times and places, for the present comprises them all. The present is a glitch in the order of time, a rupture that cracks open all timeline. A space that is accessible, a space that opens up like a rupture. Like a glitch in an image that invites us to enter the frame. Can you see it in front of you? The space that is opening up? The doors are fully open. The garden in front of the monastery doors is gently glowing under a nightly moonless sky. Birds and crickets are singing. From afar, the whispering of the ocean becomes audible. It blends with the whispering of voices. Human voices, female voices. A convent of voices of all times and places. For the present comprises them all. The present is a glitch in the order of time, a rupture that cracks open all timelines, into a virtual here and now that allows to enter and meet. Please come all in, and simply come as you are. Kassia sits at her desk and awaits us. Time is up.
So, hello everybody. It's nice to have you here. I had some technical problems. This is why I have the video and the sound separated. I hope it's working. If not, we will find another solution. So I'm happy to have the second evening of the launch of the Kassia archive, the performative archive. We launched yesterday, and I'm super happy to welcome several people here to talk with me. But first I want to say hello to Hannah. She's in the background to organize everything. So if you have technical problems, you can write her. And then there is Lucas. He's making possible that we can show some videos and that we are all visible. And there is Verena. She is making the graphic recording from this session. So in the end of this meeting, we have the possibility to see in 1-2 minutes what we talked about today, and we will show you what she painted and recorded in images during our talk. And then there are our three speakers and guests. Unfortunately, Katja Grawinkel is missing. She is in bed with flu, so she will not be with you, but ANNALYZER is here and Edith is here and Namita is here. Perhaps you turn on your camera and I start with a little presentation of you, who you are. I decided to do it in a personal way, so to say how we met or why I invited you for tonight. And I will start with Edith, because we have been working together in projects between Cameroon and Germany since 2010 already. And it's a long performative and personal journey we had in these years. And we are connected by many themes. I think one important thing is that we are both artist mothers and struggling to be both in the same moment. So it could be that my children come in, or Edith's daughter, because she's with her daughter at home. But I think it's how it is. Yeah, we are both artist mothers, and we search for other narrations for women in history where we can tell the story a bit new to make them visible. And now she had her first film debut with a film essay, The Last Queen, La Dernière Reine, and a bit later she will talk about it, and we will see the trailer about this, about this essay, about this Cameroonian queen. Then the second is ANNALYZER. And what can I say? Since I saw her a few years ago in the performance Pink Money in Germany about queer activism in South Africa, her extraordinary voice and her compositions have never left me, left my side, and she and her voice is really a gift. It's really incredible. We will listen later to 10 minutes of one project, and you will see it's really a gift, this voice. And then there is Namita, and I met her recently, but the website she's working for, genderit.org, was really, she's working there as an editor and a writer, and this website has been with me since I started about the Kassia project, because genderit.org is really an extraordinary platform that takes care of so many narrations and perspectives, and it's a place for women's rights, for sexual rights, internet rights. You can read articles from activists, academics, journalists, advocates, but they are all more or less all from Africa, from Latin America, from India. So it's not, and this is what I liked so much. In a way, I can read the text, but it's not meant for me as a white European person in the first moment, but it's really that they take care for the narrations there, and it's incredible how they do it with also with the comics a lot, with pictures, and Namita will talk a bit later about this platform. Yeah, so I'm really happy to have you here because you all three, in your way you work, has something to do with the try of this website, of this archive we launched, and I'm happy to bring you together and bring you here. So perhaps we start, before I talk about the website and show you a bit what it is, I would like to have a little opening round, and I would ask all of you three, where are you right now? I'm actually sitting in Athens, and not in Germany where I'm normally based, but at the moment for research I'm for half a year in Athens. So where are you right now? What are you working on, and what is your current project and your working practice at the moment? Perhaps only in a short round. So where are you and what is your project at the moment? Thank you. Who would like to start?
Hi, cool. Okay, hi everyone. I'm in Krefeld, here in Germany, North Rhine-Westphalia, and I now work. I don't know. I am for now, because I have a really problem with actress here in Germany. Then I start now to find a new character, because for me, I have the feeling that it's not enough character for women here. In all the book I read, in all the project I made, it's always the same problem who come, woman on stage. And for the Black woman, it's more strong also to have some kind of space. Then I decide to work, because I already start with a kainkollektiv in the time before the colonialism. I searching now for woman because I come from Cameroon. Then I searching now a character woman, the woman who make the history, and then I searching character in my culture for working on it. Then I find already the queen, and I find a lot of women, and I still have women. And yes, I'm really happy to have this kind of women in my culture, and they still have such great impact until the colonialism is a really big problem. Then it's now on what I work. New character about, but the character who come from my culture, and I could in this way tell my story.
Thank you for sharing. Hello, Lina.
Oh, hi everybody. I hope everyone is fine. Right now I'm in South Africa, in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal. The beach, which means the sea, is polluted, so I can't go swimming, but people are swimming anyway, which is one problem that we're having globally right now. Right now I'm off. I was in a tour for like a month and 2 weeks. I just got back home, so I'm resting. But in the next 2 days, I am taking classes at the 5 Music and Sound Production music school in Umhlanga, because I want to start recording myself and have my own studio, so that I can just start creating my work and everything is easy for me, and also like work with other people all over the world conveniently. So that's the project that I'm doing now, school, and I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you, ANNALYZER.
Hi, I'm Namita. I'm based in Bangalore in India. It's kind of late here, so if I start looking sleepy, just you should know why. I am currently actually Gender IT is going to be bringing out an edition that is coming from Sudan and Ethiopia, which is about conflict, technology, and feminism. So that is something we're looking forward to. And we just published 2 collections of articles, one from Asia on various forms of control on access to the internet in different ways, and we also have one on trans feminist voices from Latin America. So that's it's been a very active month for the Gender IT platform. We have 3 new things coming out. And personally, I'm interested in looking at a lot of journaling that I've done for the last 10 years almost, and seeing what I can do with it. So that's my personal project. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so before we talk about your projects, we will have a look, and it takes like 9 minutes with a video in the website, in the Kassia website. ANNALYZER is in 2 rooms, part of it actually. There's one, because this, I will make it super short because it's a bit complicated to explain, but we had a whole context of 2 years. It started with a performance opera. I wanted to work about this historical figure, Kassia, 800 in Constantinople. She founded a women monastery for the so-called fallen women, and she was composing and writing texts. So she was a bit fallen out of her time, I would say. So she was still a religious woman, but she was a bit fallen out of the time in creating a kind of empowerment space for women in this time, who perhaps didn't want to have the classical way of getting married and staying home and so on. And so I was interested in this music because it's incredible here in Greece. I mean, in the Orthodox Church, you still have a lot of music of her. And we started with this opera together with the composer Burak Özdemir and his orchestra. But in the same moment, when we talked about this convent, this monastery, Turkey withdrawal from the Istanbul Convention, so the women's rights, and Poland started to discuss to withdraw from this rights. And so I had the feeling, when we do this project, we need to talk about all the problems around, and we invented a conference series in 8 parts where we invited activists, artists, researchers on Kassia, on the Istanbul Convention. Yeah, and then we had so much knowledge and material that for me, as a small performance artist and director, I asked myself, what can we do? And how we can make a kind of a performative archive to give access to this kind of world we created with, we counted yesterday, over 80 people around the world. So, and then we said, okay, let's try to make it as a platform, as an archive online. And now we launched it. It's not bug free, it's clear, with all the programmers working half a year on it. But perhaps we have a look. I will guide you through. It's like 9 minutes, and I will guide you through different rooms, and you get a first impression of what it is. So perhaps you start the video. There's the opening page, and you put on skip the intro. This you saw already, and start the website. And there you have all the rooms, 13 rooms, which are accessible for you, which you can see here. And there is also a second possibility to guide you through it, and it's like the map of the monastery, where you see in different rooms where you can go, and you have some descriptions of the different rooms you have. Then there's the Mushroom Underground. There it's more like an archive where you have like the external links and so on. I will show it to you later. And on the About page, you can read again about the project. This is why I don't need to explain everything about the archive, about the opera, about the convention, and about the participants. in this huge project. And then we go in the first room. Her stories. It's the room. Yeah, listen first, and then I will say a few words. You have in the beginning of the
My name is Kassia. Welcome to this chamber in which my story is told and recorded. Here you can discover more about me, about the her stories of my life, my works, and the time in which I originally lived, as well as all the times and spaces which my poems and music have already passed. You will hear about me from my sisters, descendants of the ancient sisterhood that was established a long time ago. They have been the keepers of the collective concept that we have liked to call her stories. It is designed as an open, accessible space, not as a linear timeline. Her stories is not a line of progress, but a circular practice of repetition and relationship. The best way to access it is to go in circles. So please follow me along as we stray together from the path.
So after first introduction, you also can skip when you heard it several times, as you have the writing desk where you can see pictures, but behind, if you make a click on, I will show in a moment, you have the videos and bits and pieces with different topics from the conference in the last year. And here, these are all researchers from different universities about the music, about the Byzantic times. So you get a bit the background of her story, and you see parts of the graphic recordings from this meetings we had.
Most Byzantine women had no choice except to follow a traditional lifestyle, always under the authority of a male figure, whether it be a father, a brother, or a husband. They were usually married as young teenagers around the age of 12 to 14, with little or no education and destined for a life of child rearing and household management, with attendance at church services one of their few excuses for getting out of the house.
Then we go through the space until the end. So there are like 14 small videos where you get some information about Kassia, her music, and her poems. But we hurry up a bit and go to the end of the space. There you can leave this room through a door, and then you are back that you can choose. The next one we go is Constantinople Convention.
Welcome to this chamber, where some of my sisters from Istanbul and Poland share and discuss their expertise and experiences with regard to the Istanbul Convention, the European agreement to fight all forms of violence and domestic violence against women. It is an all too urgent issue that I have been following up throughout the centuries. From the times of the Byzantine Empire of the 9th century, when I founded the convent for women in Constantinople in order to give them a safe space, until the present days in which the Istanbul Convention gets under severe attack once again. So much is still to be done to guarantee what should be self-evident, that women's rights are human rights. Please come in, listen to my sisters' reports, and share with us your experiences on the matter.
There you have different people from Turkey and Poland talking about the Istanbul Convention.
This is Rumeysa from Havle Women's Association. I'm one of the founders of the association. Havle Women's Association was established in 2018 by
there you go. If you when you see there are links where you can go on in the Mushroom Underground, there you have external links, for example, to Havle, to the other organizations, which are all collected on this website. So in this Mushroom Underground, under some topics, you find all informations. So we go to the next space. One second. It's Feminist Future Practices.
Welcome to the archive that gathers materials from a year-long process of feminist work conducted by artists, researchers, and activists. This is an archive of thoughts, ways of working, sentences, feelings, emotions. Our archive lives, breathes, works, encourages to work with it, establishes relationships. We live in it too.
On this, you have two ways to go through. You have interviews from Poland, but also a feminist toolbox from this group of Poland. They worked on a feminist toolbox, so how to integrate feminist practices in a daily life. And you can really rework it, and then you can download the whole toolbox in the Mushroom Underground. So it's only to give you a first impression that you can really work through the blue spots, but you can also download how they worked for 1 year together in Poland. I will show another 2 rooms, I think, or 3. Byzantine Traces are filmmakers from Istanbul, and they collected traces from Kassia in 5 film essays.
I can see it before my very eyes.
So we jump to have a look. You have their different windows, and there you can look out to Istanbul to see impressions from their work. You find next to this space also other spaces where you have videos from the performance, for example, from the actress and from the dancer. But this I will not show today. So we go out and go in one auditive space, I think.
I have questions. To write or not to write. To sing or not to sing. How and
my hair is not a rebel.
Intro.
Trust me, it sleeps when I tell it to. Sit, stand, rolls.
And you listen to different poems in the tongue.
Tarih coğrafya.
And you can stop and listen and get information if you click on the different audio files.
Love. Ölmek.
Go a bit faster pace.
Мы сестры.
One night I was alone in my monastery. I felt lost in my attempt to give shelter to all.
So the next space is called iconoclasm, and there we collected different pictures from women's protest and graphics and paintings from students in Istanbul about the poems, the protest poems from Kassia. And we can't show it in this video because it didn't work, but there you can add a picture from yourself with a statement. Normally you have a mask. You will see in a second that you can take on a mask and you can let your protest statement there. And there is a second room where you can participate and write a text about the different biofictional inhabitants of the monastery. And this space you see at the moment, it's called Spacing Silence. And there you see really a meditation on movements from the dancer we worked with in the Kassia project. And it's via motion capturing. Our Kassia avatar is dancing her movements. Because we were thinking in this archive where you have so many informations and you can work for hours, how you can calm down a bit and how we can make a space of silence. So in this space, you have really like can watch for as long as you want. You can go on the menu all the time in this spacing silence room to have a look in this circulation of movements from the dancer. So yeah, that's a first fast introduction into this archive. So we left out several rooms. There's one also where ANNALYZER is talking about her work with other composers from Iran and Canada, for example, and also a space where you can listen to different musicians from Cameroon, Iran, to ANNALYZER, and to new compositions on Kassia's music. Yeah. So I hope you will discover in the next weeks this archive by your own, and have a first impression what it can be, or what is the try we did in the last year with all this knowledge and material. But I would like now to invite Namita, because her work really was with me, the work of gender IT, the whole last 2 years when I worked about the question of how to take care for narrations, for example, for biographies, because it's a super difficult topic. And yeah, and gender IT, I think, is an amazing platform to see what is needed as information and narrations. And perhaps you can talk a bit about gender IT as an archive. And Lucas, perhaps you only for a few seconds open the website that we can see the website genderit.org. That would be amazing to have a short look on this website from Namita.
Thank you. Can you tell me how much time I have? Or will you indicate to me running out?
I think in between 5 and 10 minutes. So it's up to you a bit.
Okay, so just tell me when you want me, when I'm nearing a point.
Yeah. No. I mean, that's problematic because I could listen for longer than 10 minutes.
Okay, and thank you very much for inviting me. And it is great to be here. And I'm fascinated by the website and the figure of Kassia and what you have done through this website, because it really rings true, or really connects with what both I personally am interested in and what we have been working on in relation to gender IT. So just to give you, to give people a sense of what this website is about that you're looking at, it is basically a platform which started off as a fairly straightforward way of sharing perspectives from feminists and women's rights activists in relation to the internet and especially digital rights. So it started off in the context of what we now historically know as the ICT for development discourse, which is basically that we can use technology to further development, especially in the global south, which is or the majority world, which is middle and low income countries in Africa, Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe, and of course, communities that are marginalized across the world. But it has become a platform where we really have worked hard at providing space for women, trans, gender non-conforming, gender non-binary people from everywhere, to find a way to express themselves and to find their own voice. So we have a lot of flexibility of form. We publish personal essays, we publish illustrations, comics, podcasts, etc. What we've also noticed over time is that we have been often the first place that a number of writers have been published, and they've gone on to be showcased in books, to come out with their own books. And this ranges from short story writers to women academics to scholars and many others. This is personally true for myself. I think I was first taken seriously as a writer on this platform, and I joined it 10 years later as an editor, and it has always remained very special to me for that reason. It gave me confidence, and I have noticed and heard this story from many others. As an archive, it's particularly interesting because we've also managed to keep records of moments that perhaps would have gone by if other people had, if it had not been on gender IT. There was a conversation on influencers in the context of the feminist debate in Kenya and in South Africa. And we have a writer called Sheena Magenya who wrote about African feminism and the effect of influencers. One by Fungai as well on feminism and feminist debates in the context of Zimbabwe and South Africa. We've had an article on online dating, which has gone viral, because, which is from Pakistan. We've had various other pieces as well, which have had huge impact on the debate within feminist circles, both locally and globally. Also, there's certain things that would have just been lost. For instance, there is a state in India called Kerala, in which there was a very vibrant debate around the time of Me Too. It was very local, very contextual, and in terms of a reflection of the global Me Too movement in a small region. And the only record of this conversation having happened is in English, is on Gender IT, though it's there, of course, in Malayalam and in the local language in their context. And I think one thing to share, which I know especially about India, but I don't know if it's true across the world, is that our archives, our state and national archives, are often very precarious. Firstly, they're not sufficiently funded. Secondly, the idea of what they would take and put in the archive is, of course, very determined by a national agenda, and of course, often an agenda that would privilege male voices. So informal archives are extremely important in the context that I come from, and I assume in other places as well. For instance, right now we have an article from Afghanistan about the LGBTQI plus movement in that place, and I think, and we worked really hard to get that article. So I think it's because of efforts like this that make Gender IT special. We have an article about an informal collective that built its own kind of VPN network, a private network. So a collective in Mexico, which was building feminist online infrastructure, including pads online that are secure and encrypted, including providing tools for encryption across the world. And the collective folded or ended about a year ago. But again, there's a record of this having happened, and it is on Gender IT. So that is one way to look at what we do. We have, of course, also a lot of the work that we've done in the sense of putting on the map the issue of online violence and harassment in particular, and that is a very strong part of both the organization that I work for, but also reflects on Gender IT. And I think just to connect it also to the figure of Kassia, there is a lot of inspiration that we take from the figure of the writing woman, I think in different ways, in different cultures. In the Indian context, there's a lot of erotic poetry from even 300, the common estimate is around 300 CE. There are Sangam poets. There is also a lot of contemporary poets like Kamla Das writing about sexuality in ways that are not quite confined by how we would, how Indian culture may have limited them. Most recently, I was also listening to a Dalit writer called Vijeta Kumar talking about how it is more useful to reach towards figure of writers in other cultures, even white women writers, than to relate to upper caste women writers within the Indian context. But the idea of the writing woman and the creative woman as a troublemaker, as a destabilizer, is, I think, what is also central to what we passionately believe in and what we want to bring out through Gender IT. And I think it's also interesting, the connection between gender IT and the LGBTQI plus movement. Here I want to bring in also another collective that I'm part of, which is the Bangalore Queer Film Festival that we organize every year. And the contrast in that context, because the Queer Film Festival only has physical artifacts that can play the role of having archived it. We have brochures, we have texts, we have people, we have the memories of people in that space. And gender IT similarly, which has been around since 2004, 2005, also is able to sustain an archive because we've taken a lot of care in terms of the platform that it's built on. So it's on Drupal 8. It is linked to social media, but it's not on platforms such as Facebook or Twitter, all these various precarious spaces that are where a lot of informal archives in the majority world end up, and therefore get lost or fall through the cracks. And this strong technological backbone is also the reason why we are able to protect the anonymity of our writers if they need to be protected. We also take a lot of care in terms of showcasing who the writers are, both in terms of giving them a space to be as loud, as prominent as they want themselves to be, but also a certain kind of security. We've, touch wood, not had many incidents of hacking, for instance, or of the writers being attacked in a particular way on our website. So I remember in the first conversation I had with you, Mirjam, you were talking about how we take care of the narratives. And I think a lot of this is actually really basic. We talk a lot to the writers. We inform them often of the risk that they might be taking by making their voices clear and out there. But also we take a lot of care in terms of the technological infrastructure that we provide them with. And also we are very understanding of the fact that that as much as we want to create safe spaces, we also want people to be heard. And a lot of the people who contribute to gender IT are very much in need of wanting their voices to be heard beyond small and confined spaces. Yeah, and I think the advantage of being a website like this is that we are a niche website, so we are able to provide a corner of the internet where people can feel safe and secure. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Namita. Thank you. Yeah, and I really can recommend it's the interviews also you do on gender IT. It's really moving. It's really touching. It's and I think you, in a way, you feel all the work behind until something is published there. And this you can, in a way, feel when you read the text on this platform. And it's really inspiring, and it's super important in these times at the moment where it's not getting better. I mean, now I think it's 89 days after the movement in Iran started, and yeah, and these spaces are super small, and we have to take care for them and make them public in the same moment. And I think this is not so easy, and especially on an internet platform where you have another risks. But I think you also know how about protecting and about internet rights and so on. And I think this combination is super important too, to know how to deal with the internet as a platform. So thank you for being here and for sharing your work with us. And perhaps now we listen, because the recent work, when I was talking 1 year ago to ANNALYZER, was Umfazi from Ukoikoi. And ANNALYZER, perhaps we listen at first and then we talk, or you would prefer the other way around? First listen, right? Yes, okay, perhaps we listen first, Lucas, to Ukoikoi and the song.
Impokodo, fasi yathandeka. Ubalulekile, yeah. Awu mthalabantu, oh Dlovukazi, umnganikazi, mfasi, uyathandeka, khuselana abafazi, bathandeni abafazi. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, woman, you're beautiful. Woman, you're powerful. Woman, you're important. Woman, you're gorgeous. Protect woman. Woman, you're important. You are brave. You are strong. Fast. Yeah. Unamandla mthalabantu. Oh, enkosi mama. Sisi gogo. Auntie. Awumfazi. Oh yeah. Oh yo. Oh yeah. Oh yo. Oh yeah. Oh yo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yo. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, mama. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Pamela Nyams. Rasta Simenya. Yo. Wena Brenda Fasi. Lebu Matosa. Fanny Swayisa. Ushebendalo mda. Simpiwe dala. Yeah. Sponkele Kumayo. Yo. Usimhlongo. Mathikizela. Dorothy Nyembe. Awumfazi. Unamandla. Oh yeah. Oh yo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yo yo. Ayo. Oh yeah. Fasi. Unolwazi. Tansa mazwayi. Fasi. Nokolokrobo. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yo. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yo. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yo. Dingumfasi, dinolwasi, ayikho into endihlulayo, ndipohlikazi, elumfazi, onolwazi, ayikho into endihlulayo, ndipohlikazi.
So thank you so much, ANNALYZER, that we could share this amazing music. I'm really speechless after it. It's like all the time when I listen to your music, like a huge space where you can get lost and fall, but you know that it's carrying you, and it's really touching to listen to this song again. And I would like to invite you, perhaps you let us know a bit about your work with Ukhoikhoi and about the song Mfasi.
Thank you, everyone, for having me. Thank you to Kassia, the goddess. It's such an honor and a pleasure to be in this space and also be part of this such important conversation with such powerful human beings within it. The song that you just heard, just give you a bit of translation. It's a song that celebrates women of all color, all around the world, all ages, human beings that identify as women. It's a celebration, also, it's a celebration of women in South Africa, because I mentioned some of their names, Mamela Nyanza, Kassia, who is an athlete who was told to take some drugs to put down her hormones as an intersex person, born intersex. So these are women that currently are carrying this courage, this baggage in South Africa, celebrating them, but it's very much indeed dedicated to women all over the world, in every culture, in every background, in every race. I still can't believe I'm still speaking about race in 2022. It's so boring. Ukoi, that's the group. Jochen Salafin is the musician. I'm also a musician. I'm the songwriter. And yeah, I would just like to say, sending love to women in Iran. I am a vocalist, performing artist, writer, composer, poet, but I also sing my poetry. And I'm based and born in South Africa. Right now, women in South Africa are disappearing. We are about to be the hotspot of human trafficking. Women and children are disappearing, and it's hectic. And it's scary. Women in Africa as a continent, mostly, majority, are not empowered. And as a lesbian Black woman in South Africa, I had to find my way. Being here today with my artistry and where I come from, also coming from a village, less privileges and less access to anything, I had to find out. It wasn't easy, but I had to, and I got who I am today. With my work, it comes from women that told me oral stories of my history as a Black woman in South Africa. With the technique of music that I use, it was already taught to me by women in my family. Taking it out to different places in South Africa was all my effort of just learning through other women. Women like Mirjam Schmuck, women like Munu Charles Danili, women like Tandi Sonazwai, in a field that is mostly run by men. Misogyny and patriarchy are my daily life, and it's not as simple, it's all over everywhere. But within the art industry in South Africa, the art industry, the LGBTI+ community, gay men are dominant. Within the music industry, the arts field, men are dominant. How I have had to shine upon it was to look beyond it and submit. I'm not a submissive human being, especially when it comes to the male gender, but with its cause and how the rules work around how we make music as women in South Africa, it has to call a man. Right now, Mirjam was asking permission to use this video that you guys have wanted to, we're watching right now in person. And I said, I had to talk to the boys first. We're all equal partners. And of course, it's right that I ask permission. But it always goes back to that. I have to ask the boys first. And those are mostly decisions that we as women in South Africa in the art department have to go through. We have to ask the boys. Funding within our governance is men-oriented. South Africa has never had a female identifying president. We want to take out our president right now, Ramaphosa, and have no change because our country is fucked. It's a bit much more quiet. We're not the Rainbow Nation that people are saying is fucked. Racism, sexism, homophobia, they are much more in the high rise. Killing of women and children are much more in the high rise. Within the artistry, every gap that you would get is through the male gender. Right now, I'm taking classes on my mom's studio because I have acknowledged that everywhere I've gone to record my music, I had to pass a male producer. And most female vocalists in my country don't know how to do production, especially Black female, Black women in South Africa or in Africa don't have access to their own studios or female producers that will give them opportunities without making them feel uncomfortable or making them feel like they're not worth. Going to the music sound production classes in Oklahoma is going to be a door that I'm opening that I want to be a generational thing. I'll start with women that are around me that I know that's super talented, that want to record but are skeptical to studios. My archive within my work is to save, if that's the correct term, is to keep or save the oral stories I was told by great women. That's how I write. Our history was written in books and they're false. But the history that I got from women that raised me and coming to what I write about now is from women that saw things happening. And my one legacy is to keep open and access spaces for women in South Africa with every man that I've worked with that I did not need to open legs to, but had to have focus, education, and a big mouth, which is what they call. You have a big mouth when you speak. To access them to my studio and give them opportunities through these men so that they don't have to go through harassment like women like Verena Herbst had to go through. Women like Dorothy had to go through. Women like Winnie Madikizela had to go through. Within the technology, as the new age is evolving, within the social media platforms and everything, I'm taking advantage of them much as possible. I've learned live looking, and I was taught by Yogan Sanafan. The way I was hungry, so hungry for it, I got it the first day he taught me and we went to a gig. And I know that this access that I have now, the opportunities and privileges that I have now, even having this platform on its own, it's something that I should store, that I'm storing, and that I should teach and keep and have my own studios and access to things. My archive of artistry right now, since South Africa is no longer a rainbow nation in my eyes, which is South Africa is the darkest place, which is low shedding, which South Africa is the most, is now a now it's always been poor for Black people. It's hard for Black people, Black women especially, because we know the struggle, which is unemployment, is to now revive the resources, to get resources from what I get in Europe. I get paid in euros with what I do with my artistry, with the instruments that you also saw in the videos. I've invested in that. Now I'm buying this equipment so that I have them in my bedroom, so that women within the LGBTI community, trans women, heterosexual women, indigenous women, can find a place of peace when they want to express themselves. Right now, I'm investing on empowering women digitally, empowering women in recording their stories. Taking these classes, I'm not taking them for myself, but I'm taking these classes so that I just put it back to women that are scared. Even educated women in South Africa currently have no voice. And when we say education, talk about academics. Women already that are universities and they speak like this. I'm just going to speak about vulnerability of women that are not academics, not educated. Women that are academic traditionally, women that are academic culturally, women that are academic that don't have access to this type of platforms and situations. I'm telling stories of my grandmother that was survived like eating hair. I'm preserving that and using men to access those tools without having to sleep with them. Being a lesbian woman has saved me. I'm born lesbian. I'll die lesbian. But also being a lesbian now is a shame. Within accessing spaces with men that you could probably trust, women that you could probably, men that you could probably work with. But now it's a shame. I'm now evolving into a space where I'm preserving and archiving artistry, wishing to have my academy one day that is run by women, women in Europe, women in India, women in Congo, women in South Africa, where we get access, where we could teach each other without any influence of any some sort of institution that is run by men all over the world. And when I say men, I include gay men too. Right now, also in spaces in South Africa, queer spaces are very important. Disability is very important in every shape or form, but I will speak about the LGBTI community. Women in South Africa that are lesbian have been running spaces, especially in Johannesburg. There's Queertopia, there's Queer Day, there's Same-Sex Saturdays, there's Six Beds. And these spaces have been so safe and so accessible. And these organizers have been booking trans women that DJ, lesbian women that rap or sing, non-binary human beings. The visibility of non-binary is so underestimated. It's not there. The visibility of gender non-confirmation is so non-existing within the LGBTI community, because what is led is the L. I mean, it's the L. The L is just there because we like some kind, and it's the G. Right now, my goal is preserving, teaching, documenting, from writers to vocalists to production houses, that women run this. And I'm going to be the first woman within my circle to provide that space, and which is my goal right now. This holidays, I'm not having a holiday, but my work is to get my students, get what I need to do within the knowledge that I have, and do what I need to do. So that this woman,
thank you so much,
with their children are in a
Yeah.
safe haven. Women are disappearing in South Africa.
Thank you so much, ANNALYZER, for for sharing all these layers and this multidimensional idea of this kind of archive. And I have many questions now, and I'm super thankful yeah, for your words now, but we will find the space and the room where I will ask all these questions again. Thank you so much. It's super important that you have this way in mind and that you're doing this work every day. Thank you so much. And it's difficult to say something after it, ANNALYZER. But I think there is one narration of one figure Edith was working on now for quite a long time, because like she said in the beginning, she's at the moment sitting in Germany and there is no place for her as an actress easily. In these institutions, you have no characters for her. It's not existing. And she started her research on narrations.
We can't hear you, Mirjam.
Well, me out of the Zoom conference. So let's first in the trailer. And the trailer is French with German subtitles, but we put in the chat the English translation. So if you don't speak German or French, it's possible to read the translation of the trailer in the chat. And perhaps Hannah, you put first the text in the chat, few sentences, and then Lucas, you start the video from the trailer of La Dernière Reine.
Willkommen in der Maschine.
Est-ce que vous savez ce que ça fait que d'être coincé dans le corps de quelqu'un d'autre?
Je suis une actrice et je n'ai aucun pouvoir. Je suis un simple jouet exhibé pendant des siècles d'esclavage, de colonisation et de néocolonisation. Je dois retrouver mon histoire.
La femme joue un rôle particulier, central, n'est-ce pas, dans la société matriarcale traditionnelle.
Il faut savoir que la mère, le côté maternel est plus puissant.
La femme bestialisée, animalisée, torturée, c'est un fait de la description de la femme vue par les yeux d'un observateur non africain.
Qui est un garçon?
Thank you for sharing the trailer with us. So, who is Nkonso and who is Edith Nana in this figure? Perhaps you start to talk a bit how you found this character and who she is for you.
I think I have the story for a long time already, because I'm come with that region in Cameroon, and I know her story. But I didn't know that she was the statue is here in Deutschland. When I start to searching about her, because I know her, I went to Cameroon, and in the research I found that she's here in Deutschland. The statue is here in Deutschland in the museum, Humboldt Forum.
Humboldt from Berlin.
Yes, it was really a big surprise for me. Why I'm searching her story? Because of my child. Because in my culture, we say the child, the girl, child, as the future of the mother. The boy is the future, he give the future in another family. Then is made for go outside. But the girl is the continuity of the mother. And I'm here, I don't know how to tell, to give, what I will give to my child, because she already have a, she's born here, she have this culture, and I didn't have anything to give to her because my story was not writing. Like here, when I speak about something, that everyone asks me, where is right? Who write that? Who say that? Then it's a bit, for me, it's a bit strange because I give my story to my child and she give to his continuity. Then I go back for take the information of my culture for bring something to her, and also for me, because I didn't have any attach here with all the story. I have to play, I have to say, and the woman was always in the position, in the bad position for me. She is not speak, she don't have any really particular place on the stage. She's just a decoration for me. She sometimes sleep, she's sometimes just there for for help to the hero to come. Yes. Then
yeah,
for
for
me
the of the hero, right?
Yes.
I mean,
and then
in the German plays, it's very often that the figure of there to show the history of heroes.
Yes.
In a lot of plays.
Then I didn't find my place in, then I go back to take that story. And what I was surprised and not surprised is that with colonization, they wanted to destroy a lot of story of women who make a history in Africa. They take this statue for break this figure because she was emblematic, and it's not arrived. The story is still there, and now the statue will come back in Cameroon. I hope next year. Then yes, is Gonzo is an queen who take we have a lot of men with her, and she create a dynasty in Cameroon, and she was really appreciated because of she was really make people together. And yes, she was a great model, first model on So Dynasty. That is why I choose her. It give me a place as Black woman, but not just a small place, but a big place that women in my culture have a big place. And then I speak about all the spiritual way, and because it's the power of the woman in my culture is spiritual. The boy had the physical power, but the spiritual power is by woman. Is that I try to work on it and present for bring a new thing, because it was not right, or it was right, and there was destroyed, and now I have to put that up for say that yes, we was there, we was like this, and we can be more than this.
Yeah, yes. And to try to, yeah, and you're working on a kind of archive from this female narrations before colonialism, and perhaps also then for your daughter. It's not written like here, so perhaps like ANNALYZER said, you are perhaps the archive then for her to take care for this knowledge and material and narration.
Yes, it's and also for me, for myself, because I was always have this problem. I'm already have two culture now, and I think I didn't have some kind of equilibrium between this culture. It was always the domination of the patriarchal thing here, and I didn't find my place. Then with that is also for me bring equilibrium and bring the new story, because all that writing story are not made for me as Black woman. It's not made as Black. It's not made for me. Our story was white by the winner, and there was white what they want. Then if I continue to tell this story right by the winner, I will never have me on stage. I will just have I don't know, a character I could not support, because for me now, for be on stage, I have to be me.
And it's also a search now for you on stage when you have this other narrations and other figures you can bring with you. So the work on it. Thank you so much, Edith, for sharing.
Thank you.
And it's, I mean, you started this work, I think, and La Dernière Reine, it was the first narration you found for you, and you opened up for us as spectator. And I'm super curious to see who's coming next, which story is coming next. Unfortunately, when I look at the time, and in this digital spaces, I think 1.5 hours is possible, and after it's perhaps too long, even if it's really sad to close already now. I would close with one last question to all three of you. Perhaps keep it short, because after that I would like to have a look in the graphic recording from Verena. So my last question would be, who would be the Kassia of the future for you? Perhaps like a utopia, like an idea how this Kassia of the future could look like, what for practices and spaces she would need and attributes she would have. You want to start?
I think look like now I speak about character. My character doesn't have a color. It's not made for color. It's emotion. It's powerful. It's something strong. Something. Some people, a woman who are strong and know what she wants. If I would say how it could, Kassia could look, is like this. All the good without color. Just woman.
My Kassia would be a weapon of art. Art is one powerful weapon that you could have, because it speaks in all shapes. And when I say art, not performing art, I'm talking to the writers, the activism on its own part, the woman that record and and march and speak of our voices, women just having access to artistry and spaces. We need visas. We don't want to stay. We just want to go in and out. We want to get to know each other. I want to go to Namita without having a problem. I want to see Mirjam without having situations, so that we have these discussions and make artistry a powerful weapon of art, and also passing it to our young, beautiful babies. That we might Kassia access. Women getting access everywhere, no limits.
I'm going to second the point about visas. We really need that. I think my Kassia would be queer and sexy. I don't think I want to add anything else. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
So so I can see already this Kassia in a mixture of all the three descriptions, and I hope there will be a lot of archives and narrations coming in the next weeks and months, and in Iran and in all the other countries where it's so needed at the moment. Verena, can you share your graphic recording? And I say thank you for all of you. Thank you that you were part of this discussion. And I hope to see you soon, and in person and live and without visa troubles as soon as possible. So thank you very much for this evening, and let's have a look and have a good night. Thank you.
Verena?
Teile ich schon den Bildschirm? Geht's schon los? Seht ihr meinen Bildschirm?
Nein.
Ich sehe nur dich gerade.
I don't see the screen. Only you.
Ich sehe auch Verena Herbst 2 nicht mehr. Bist du noch drin?
Nee, ihr müsst meinen Bildschirm noch freigeben. Der Host muss den Bildschirm freigeben. Sorry.
Okay.
1 second. A little technical issue.
Sollte jetzt funktionieren, Verena.
Okay. Ja, genau. Okay.
Thank you, Verena, for sharing. Have a good evening, and discover the website of Kassia in the internet. Thank you.
I think everybody's already out of the room.
Yes.
Thank you, Lucas and Hannah in the background.